All right, we're going to do lesson 6.3, solving linear systems by adding and subtracting. And I think you're going to find that this one is pretty user-friendly. I think you might like this method of solving systems better than some of the other ones. Substitution is not bad, but this is here's your warm-up exercises. Notice the answer is already up there. There's your system. Sorry about that. But hopefully you understand why it's written that way. One auto repair shop charges $30 for a diagnosis and $25 per hour for labor. Another auto repair shop charges $35 per hour for labor, but no diagnosis fee. So here would be the system, and you could solve it when their costs would be the same. You would just set them equal to each other. That'd be a great substitution problem. Sometimes substitution works best. But let's go ahead and focus on our using addition to eliminate a variable. We've always kind of thought about just addition as adding just two numbers or two terms together, like the 2x plus 3y that we see right here. But we can also add entire systems. So we can basically draw a line right here, and we can add these equations together. We have x's, we have y's, and we have constants. So as long as we have them lined up with the parts that are like terms, we can add vertically. So what we notice here is we have a positive 2x and we have a negative 2x. And if we add those together, then our x variable will add to 0. So as you can see, a positive 2x and a negative 2x basically adds to 0x. Sorry about the marking. This is what happens with my little pad here. So the x's disappear, or basically wipe out to 0, cancel out, leaving us with 8y equals 24, because we just add 3y plus 5y is 8y, and 11 plus 13 is 24. And then we divide both sides by 8, and then we get y equals 3. So now we have our y coordinate of our solution. So we're going to take that y coordinate, and we can go back to either equation and substitute the 3 in for y, and solve for x. So when we do that, maybe, we get x equals 1. So there is our solution. We have an answer of 1, 3. And of course, we would hopefully go back in and check that solution in both of the equations. So I'm not sure if this PowerPoint is going to do that, but yes, it does. So we substitute that back in. And wow, this is really slow right now. Substitute that back in. That side checks. And then we substitute it into the second equation. And this one checks as well, I'm sure. It's going to be 13 equals 13. So we know that our solution we found is correct. Okay, so that's all there is to adding. So the next example we're going to do is subtraction. And I'm going to, sorry, I kind of went a little bit fast. Notice here we have 4x plus 3y equals 2, and we have 5x plus 3y equals negative 2. So what we notice here is we have 3y and 3y. They're both positive. So if we add these two equations together right now, we would end up with 9x plus 6y equals 0. Well, that's not going to help us to add those together at the current in the current way it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the equations. And technically what we're doing is, and I'll show you this in a second, if we subtract this equation right here, sorry, I have a very touchy board, okay? So if we subtract that equation right there, then we're going to distribute that negative. We can't just make the 5x negative. We have to distribute the negative all the way through, and then once we've distributed, then we'll add. So it'll look like this over here to the right. So we're going to subtract our bottom equation, and then we're going to distribute that negative. So we're going to have now a negative 5x and a negative 3y and a positive 2. So make sure you distribute the negative all the way through. So we change the signs of everything. So we change our positive 5x to negative, our positive 3y to negative, and then our -2 to a +2. And now we're just going to add. We're going to add, and we're going to get 4x minus 5x is -x. Our 3y and our 3y cancel out, and then our 2 plus 2 is 4. So the opposite of x is +4, so positive x would have to be -4. Again, we could say multiply both sides by -1, however you want to say it. Change the sign of x, change the sign of your constant. So now that we have solved for x, we can take that -4 and substitute it back in to either one of our equations. So we'll use equation 1, and we'll solve for y. We're going to go back to the original equation, not the one with the distributed negative. We would not want to use that one, just in case we did it wrong. So there's the solution. -4, 6, and then we would check it. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this next system. We have a big jumbled mess here. We have 8x minus 4y equals -4, and we've got 4y equals 3x plus 14. Well, I can't do anything with this until I can get my systems lined up, my terms lined up where they are, where I could actually add them together with the equal signs lined up. That's what we want to do. So I want to take that bottom equation and arrange it like equation 1. So I want to subtract 3x from both sides so that I can have that bottom equation would look like this. Maybe. I leave the first equation the same, and then I subtract 3x from both sides. This marker is getting me. Okay, so that means I have over here -3x, +4y, and +14. That's the only thing I did was move my x term to the other side of the equation so I can line these up. And now I notice I've got a -4y and a +4y. So I already have equations that have terms that will add to 0. So I don't need to do anything else except go ahead and add my equations together and do 8x minus 3x, and I get 5x. My y's will cancel out. These will cancel out to 0. Okay, and then -4 plus 14 is 10. So 5x equals 10, so x equals 2. So there's my x coordinate for my solution. Okay, my x coordinate for my solution. Again, take that, plug that in or substitute that in. This time we chose equation 2 because that gives us y by itself. Equation 2 before we rewrote it, rearranged it. So that will help us solve for y. Okay, so there's my solution, 2, 5. Okay, and then we would check it because you always want to check. I'm hoping that you guys are checking this when you get to your homework. So here's your guided practice. Go ahead and pause the video and do this and see if you can come up with the right answer. And when you have your answer, start the video again. Okay, so -1, -3. If you did not get that, then you could ask me. Here's the next guided practice. Pause the video. Notice we have a +7x and a +7x. These will not add to 0. So we are going to distribute a negative through the second equation. Don't forget, distribute a negative through there, change the sign of everything, and then you can add. And then check your answer. Okay, there's the answer. If you did not get that, you can bring that question to me tomorrow, or you can ask your neighbor. And one more guided practice, and then I'll stop the video. So you just probably saw the answer, but that's okay. Rearrange everything and then subtract, or add, I should say. And there's the correct answer. Okay, you can stop the video.